The number of lamp types and manufacturers is almost countless. In this section, we'll be looking only at some of the main types. We'll take a look at their design and, above all, their function, what job they do, and what effect they give in a variety of lighting situations. The most important idea underlying all lighting techniques is the interplay between hard and soft lighting, which is also reflected in the types of lamps which are available. Key lighting is normally a hard, directed light. The lamp itself consists of a lamp housing within which the bulb can be moved, and with a lens which collects the rays of light and makes them more parallel. This type of lens, recognizable by its grooved surface, confines the light within a cone. The lighting effect can be compared to a sunny day outdoors, with sharp shadows and distinct textures. The power of the directed light beam varies between 300 watts and 10,000 watts, and obviously, the greater the power, the heavier the lamp. For fill-in lighting, soft and wide lights are used. The lamp is usually open-fronted and doesn't have a lens. Soft lamps are mostly larger and more unwieldy than directed lamps, and they're rigged either on stands or, more commonly, from fly bars or grid bars. Soft lighting gives soft shadows like those we see outdoors on a cloudy day. Lighting, as for recording news reports, a sort of all-purpose lamp is used. The red headlamp in the picture is one such dual type, an all-round type which is really neither hard nor soft. Soft lamps with a fixed distance between the bulb and a pitted reflector give a relatively hard light, since the pitted reflector collects the rays of light. This type of lamp can therefore be used as an all-round light. Lights for cyclorama lighting have an asymmetrical reflector. The irregular design of the reflector makes it possible to light all round the horizon or one wall with an even light, upwards and downwards. The design of the reflector gives more light upwards than downwards. This type of lamp is easy to confuse with an ordinary soft light, but it's not at all suitable for that sort of use. There are many accessories available for all the basic types of lamps. Barn doors, or flaps as they're also called, have the job of limiting the edges, and so making the cone of light smaller. The light pattern then becomes more concentrated, and this avoids any diffuse shading off at the edge of the beam. Barn doors are naturally used to avoid any spillage of light onto the set. In most cases, barn doors are already fitted, but where they're lacking, it's possible to use loose screens, screwed onto the front edge of the lamp housing. For many lights, there are frame holders for various types of filter. There's a large number of types of filter of many varieties, which can provide every effect from correcting color temperature to a very strong coloration of the cone of light. The use of materials such as gelatine or acetate can make the filter both strong and non-flammable. The frames can also take filters which are intended to reduce the intensity of light, but without altering its color. You can choose to light or only a part of it. Diffusion filters can be used with both hard and soft lights to soften the light. Diffusion filters break up the beam, thus giving a softening effect. To soften the light, a grid can be added to make the rays of light more parallel. This makes the light more directed than if the lamp had been completely open, and it avoids any unnecessary light spillage. It's seldom possible to use barn doors to screen off a soft light. This is because any screening off too near the lamp is quite ineffective. Instead, flags are used. These are black sheets which are mounted on a floor rack. Placing flags a bit in front of the lamp masks any unwanted light from the set. To reflect light, everything from white cardboard screens to special hard reflective discs are used. When it comes to larger surfaces, stretched white cloth is often used. A wide selection of devices is available for rigging lamps. Floor stands are quite frequently used, not least when it comes to shooting on location, that is, outside the studio. Where appropriate, lamps can be clamped or hung up with the aid of clamps or brackets. In television and film studios, grid bars are installed to enable concertina brackets and telescopic brackets to hang lamps from. The alternatives include fly bars, which can be lowered to ground level. The lamps are attached with metal brackets, and the fly bar has an electrical point which can be controlled from a lighting console. In planning lighting, lighting plans are used as an aid in preparing the rigging of the lamps. The lighting plan can be anything from a simple sketch to a fully detailed drawing. It shows where the lamps are to be positioned, fly bars in the roof, or placed on a stand, or directly on the floor. In some cases, the rigging begins on the floor, and the lighting plan is drawn up afterwards. But most often, and particularly for more demanding lighting, the lighting designer has been planning and drawing for a long time before the production ever gets into an actual studio. In this training program, we're using the symbols you can see here. The first is for key light, the second for fill-in light, and the third, crossed-out lamp, shows that it's placed on the floor or is a natural part of the set. The fourth symbol shows a projector. The method of making up a lighting plan varies often from person to person. The important thing is the drawing helps planning. Having a functioning lighting plan can also prove useful later. For example, when a scene has to be retaken and the identical lighting is required. The lighting plan shown here is a personal example. It covers a minor setup, and despite the fact that the number of lamps may seem over the top, more were actually needed. Planning must also include an inventory of available lamps. You can start by cutting your coat according to your cloth, or quite simply, you can start with a lighting plan and then purchase the necessary equipment.